The playoffs are around the corner. Week 12 is here, and so is the Fantasy and Frames family for the pregame show. Joining me is Jorge Edwards, JT, Jonathan, and Dave. David did not include you last. I just was going in order of looks, so no offense, of course. But
I'm lost.
Reverse order of fantasy knowledge and I would say mugs. You still reigning champ 2 weeks in a row. I believe the Hello Kitty brass knuckle mug comes
back.
in.
It's back.
Did we
brass knuckle Hello Kitty mug? That's awesome.
That's what we think it is. We're gonna go with that.
In case anyone robs you at 7 a.m. when you're having your morning coffee,
Exactly.
flip it. And there you go.
Yeah, those crazy Hello Kitty tweens.
I think it was Charlene who noted it was meant. Apparently it's the bow.
Yeah.
Didn't realize that. Yeah.
I like the brass knuckles thing better. Yeah.
We do too, but we were happy to know that people were invested in our conversation. Yeah, there was no fantasy talk or getting anything right last week. There
was a good 20 minutes of Hello Kitty mug talk, I feel like.
The only thing they got was right last week was no matter what, play Sean Tucker. As I told you, Sean Tucker.
You were
I got out of the park last week with Sean Tucker. I told you, Sean Tucker, no matter what.
No matter what. Wrote it down like on draft day. It was
on the sheet. Pull it out
on the sheet. That's it. That's the only thing that's what was on the screen. Was that? Or you missed it. You were driving back. You thought you were listening to us talk.
I was in the beginning. And then somebody else took over driving because she's like, okay, you're going to crash. Wake up. Go sit in the other seat. Have some coffee, which means translation. I want to listen to what the hell I want to listen to. And you don't get to check. So.
Oh, you made her listen to it on the Bluetooth over the car?
Yeah. When I was driving.
That's all.
God.
She was like, no, get out.
You're not even in the passenger seat. Go to the trunk.
Not even remotely would happen, but it is. Well, guys, we'll start off with a bang. One of the answers is not Sean Tucker, so JT gracefully bow out of this, but it is a full point PPR. Got to start 2 of the 3 between Breece Hall, Javonte Williams, and Quinshon Judkins. Jonathan, you're the furthest distance away in kilometers. See the way I did that? Starting off fancy in my
very European. Very nice of you.
Very nice of me, exactly. What do you think?
Hold on, Nate. How would you spell kilometers? Let's see if we can get him.
How do I?
Go on.
How is it supposed to be spelled, or how did we spell it here in the United States? It's Kilometers. But
R-E-S.
Huh?
R-E-S.
See, exactly. That's not how we spell it.
It's like liters as well. What is this L-I-T-E-R stuff?
Yeah.
L-I-T-R-E.
Well,
Litris. No, that doesn't work for me. Sorry. Can't.
Actually, it does sound kind of stupid. Litre?
Yeah.
That was a little bit, if you think about it. Anyway.
Well, colors in certain places is O-U-R-S, and that
it is.
I couldn't get C. Either way. But spell victory for Jordan Smith by choosing between Breece Hall, Javonte Williams, and Quinshon Judkins. Jonathan, I'll start with you.
So the one that I probably feel best about here is Javonte Williams, simply because I think I just want pieces of that game. I think it's going to be high scoring. We know what that. I mean, Dallas defense is a little bit better now, but Javonte Williams has just been so consistent for you throughout this season that I think he's someone that, I know the last couple of games haven't been as good, but he's still seeing all of the touches there. There's no sort of question about the volume that he's going to get. So Javonte Williams would be the first one for me. And I think the other one would be Breece Hall, simply because I just feel better about Tyrod Taylor over Justin Fields. And I just feel as though it can't get any worse in that offense. Yeah. And so I think there will likely be a more efficient sort of passing attack there, which will obviously help Breece Hall through the passing game, but also hopefully with more kind of opportunities in the red zone. My fear with Judkins is just I don't want anyone from that game, to be honest. I think it's yeah, I mean, Shedeur Sanders looked really poor.
That's brutal.
Really looked much better this week. And then you've got a Raiders team going up against that Browns defense. It's going to be really low scoring. Yeah, you're going to get volume, but I think Hall and Williams are the two that I'm going for.
Is anybody on the narrative that it can be and probably only will be Quinshon Judkins in Cleveland? Because I can understand that narrative as well. Like, I don't want many pieces of that offense just in general. But is it just the duality of situations, and that you can have a piece of the offense as long as it's the only piece that might actually be beneficial? Can they move the chains enough? Is anybody on Judkins out of the three?
I know I'm not. I agree with Javonte and Hall, although Vegas has actually been pretty tough against running backs as of late. The funny thing is about Javonte is you look at the season as a whole. I think the Cowboys allow the 8th most or 9th most rushing fantasy points to the position. But over the past month, they've actually been 17th. So they've actually gotten stingier as that defense and that linebacking core has gotten healthier. Oh, excuse me. No, I'm saying this backwards. Okay, it's early. Never mind. Philadelphia is 19th. Excuse me. But the thing here is we all have to remember week 1, Jalen Carter wasn't in the middle of that defense, and that's a big reason why Javonte Williams had a lot of success, in my opinion. He's back this week, and the defense has gotten tougher as they're 19th in fantasy points allowed to the running back on average. To answer your second question, Nate, I am a Cedric Tillman stan. I will be a Cedric Tillman stan for the rest of the season. He has a great matchup. I don't care if it's Gabriel or if it's or Shedeur. He has had, while Judy has had more targets, but not by much since Tillman has been back or has played this season, I should say. Tillman has had a higher catch percentage and actually leads all the wide receivers on the Browns in fantasy points per game, which I know, again, not saying a lot, but given the matchup, given the reliability of being able to be hyper targeted, I am on board Cedric Tillman this week and going forward for the remainder of the fantasy playoffs.
Well, it's good to know that if there's a question about Cedric Tillman at any point, we know where Jorge stands.
No matter what.
Yeah, sorry, Jordan. Obviously, he decided to take his pedestal talk and go on his Cedric Tillman stand rant about with Shedeur.
He may be available on your waiver wire. Let's face it, he probably is still available on your waiver wire. So just throwing it out there, Jordan.
Either way, I think that I will be the lone person. I'm sorry, it's probably not going to be helpful. I have Judkins as one of my again, I trust that offense about as far as I can throw it, but I still think it's a lean heavy on Judkins and then Breece Hall myself, just because I think that week 1 was kind of, I don't know, a situation like you said with Jalen Carter. I mean, but yeah, good luck. Charlene's in the chat. Good morning to you, Charlene. She has her weekly question, which is, got a twist.
Are you pulling it up? Okay.
Yep. Kenneth Walker, David Montgomery, Tajay Spears. Also can pick up Tucker, but need to drop one of these guys. All right, JT, we know this is your question. So number 1, picking up Sean Tucker, dropping Tajay Spears.
Yeah, I'm dropping Spears for Tucker. Absolutely.
Do it.
And you're starting Tucker over Kenneth Walker, David Montgomery?
I'm probably starting, Kenny Walker. We've talked about it every week. He's been frustrating. But I'm probably playing Kenny Walker, and I'm probably playing Tucker. Monty's been real tough. I'm on the fence with Monty in almost every league, every week, because it's like him. I have so many guys so close, and they just have not given him the touches lately. Usually I'm a Monty guy, but I'm probably going high upside. Seahawks should roll. I'm going Kenny Walker and Tucker.
Yeah, and that's the hardest part because the Giants are such a good matchup to running backs. You want both pieces, but I think you only want both pieces when you don't have better options, and it's like desperation play because you're on buys and you could get away with starting either or. But I think I am in agreement with you guys, unless one of you 4 or 3 feel otherwise and you want to get your point across. Jorge, any Cedric Tillman correlation in this one?
Yes, even if he's not in this game or in this question, definitely still pick up Cedric Tillman.
What school did Cedric Tillman go to?
the school
Tennessee.
of hard knocks.
Tennessee.
Or Tennessee. Tennessee works.
He's a
too.
Tennessee
So
ball.
there's your correlation. Speaking of Tajay Spears in Tennessee, Cedric Tillman, University of Tennessee alum, is of it. So that's what I want you to do every time now, Jorge, is look and find a way to work that in. Dave still tries to find a way to work Zeke Elliott into the conversation, which I respect.
He's coming back, guys. He's coming back. I'm telling you.
He named his kid Zeke just so he could always have a way to remember the good times. It's kind of a top-notch move, personally. But all right, Emrant needs 3 linebackers, 3 points per tackle, and 15 points per sack. So obviously more of a, I guess that's a big play type scoring, if you will.
Right. 15 points a sack. That is awesome. That is pretty freaking fantastic. As far as the 3 linebackers, let's go in reverse order. Barrett Carter had been playing well once he got the green dot there for Cincinnati. Rookie linebacker has fallen off the cliff. Just lack of production the past month. So definitely not him. Drake Thomas with Ernest Jones coming back, becoming the green dot linebacker, meaning the every down linebacker. You're taking away some of his volume. Thomas is also not really a big tackle person. He's more of like a few tackles here, pass deflection there, big play, upside, but not something you could necessarily count on. And I know this is a 15 points per sack situation here, but that is a dangerous big play. If this is more of like an edge rusher situation, then that changes the dynamic. Cody Simon has gotten the green dot for the Arizona Cardinals, and he has been playing lights out rookie linebacker. So in the very first 3 would be Eric Wilson, Wilson, Carson Schweizinger, and Cody Simon would be my 3 linebackers.
JT, anything to add to that?
Yeah, I think I'm in the same boat with Jorge there. I'm taking the same thing.
Well, yeah, then I'll throw one to you, and I'll let you decide. Who would you pick up? The Chicago linebackers right now. Do you have a preference order? Because obviously, as we noted, which we'll get to in some of the injuries and situations around the league, Chicago is awfully thin at linebacker position.
Man, this is a real toss-up because, again, everybody's hurt at the same time. So you're like, okay, we haven't really seen hardly any of these guys. So it's like, okay, which one is going to be the guy? Somebody's going to have to get some tackles on that defense. For me, it's a tough call, but I'm probably going the rookie, Ruben Hippolyte. I'm probably going to him. He's athletic, but but again, Jorge might have some more data on this than me. This is just a real toss-up. All my friends are Bears fans are like, what are we going to do this week? And I'm like, that's a good question. What are you going to do this week? And everybody banged up. Jorge, have you heard anything? I have not gotten a lot of read on like who they're expecting. What have you heard?
Yeah. So just to recap, TJ Edwards out, Tremaine Edmonds out, Noah Sewell, who's coming in replacement of either of those linebackers, is out. I was trying to make in my head before answering this question a Taylor Swift Hippolyte correlation, but you get what I'm saying. Those folks out there who understand that reference, I'm going with Ruben Hippolyte as well.
I thought that's what you were trying to. I wasn't sure if you were humming or if you had a. So there's this song,
and this might even be more of a CJ Gardner question, like play like the slot guys, because I think they're going to play a lot of nickel and dime today. Even though the Steelers like to play a lot of tight ends, I don't think they're going to have a lot of options. So you might want to be looking at box safety over linebacker for the Bears if those guys are out there. I'd almost rather have one of those guys like a Bird or a CJ Gardner Johnson, because I think those guys might end up with more tackles.
Fair point. Taylor Swift has a song on her new album, Dave, called Opalite. And so Opalite and Hippolyte were going to be my 2 connecting things there.
We're doing this.
If you told me you give me $1 million, if I could name one Taylor Swift song, I would lose out. I have no idea.
You know one now. It's called Opalite, or you could call it Hippolyte for shits and giggles.
Hippolyte judges, does that count? Close enough.
IDP judges.
Yeah. Unfortunately, when you have it played in your house, so
you understood the reference, is what you're saying.
Well, I would have understood if I didn't know if you were humming or if you were having some kind of tick that you like to hum in between questions now. And so I just was going to let it play out and see where we were going from here. But now that I put two and two together, I understand the reference. So yes, let's see it. Ray, hopefully you're still here after that back and forth. Needs to start two wide receivers between Michael Pittman, Romeo Doubs, Jameson Williams, and Darius Slayton. Dave, why don't you break down who your two that you would start this week?
I'm starting Pittman. I think the Colts get back on track. I think they feed him. I'm going to go. It depends what you need. I love the upside of Williams. Sorry. So I think I'm going to take the risk. I think they feed him a bit more this week. Did great last week, so I'm jumping on the JMO train.
Welcome aboard,
JMO.
I've been on this train now. It's been a sloggy 2 years plus, sometimes week in and week out. But since Dan Campbell's taken over that play calling role, really specifically, he's been much more targeted in the ideal A-dot range that I love for Jameson Williams. That really made him successful last year. Guys, so I agree with Dave as far as Jameson Williams as being the one of the three, four here, or one of the two, really. But I think people could probably make a case for between Pittman, Doubs, or Slayton in that. Is anybody scared of Pittman versus the Chiefs, or do we think that that's just me trying to avoid most offenses?
That's wishful thinking right there.
It is wishful thinking.
Yeah,
that's all I have left in this world.
So, like, when you look at like first read percentage,
I don't think the Chiefs make playoffs. I know it's not fancy related. I really don't. They're just not looking the same.
The mute button's about to come out for you there.
True.
Nate.
Hey man, I've had like 5
No,
years.
it's true. The mute button is about to come out there from Nate.
Patriots have sucked for 5 years.
It's reality. I can see it. I can see a path to that. It's scary, but go ahead. So
I was going to say, like, if you look at first read percentage, like the number one wide receiver that Daniel Jones locks onto, and then the number one wide receiver. Well, yeah, I guess it's both one and the same. Michael Pittman's the guy. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say for Indianapolis. So, Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman, those are the two guys I think they're going to be the focal points. But like you said, Kansas City is pretty good over the past month. They are 22nd in fantasy points allowed, so not great. So yeah, it is. I could be swayed with. So obviously Jameson Williams. I think we're all in the same agreement there. Doubs or Slayton. I would go Romeo Doubs, even though Christian Watson has been becoming more of that big play guy. Doubs has been consistent from week to week.
Gotcha. Charlene, being in the chat, has a rest of season question for you guys. And so, Jonathan, I'll start with you. If you're choosing one, Trey Tucker or Cortland Sutton rest of season. Now, it's also 8 point per touchdown and 2 points per reception. I don't know if that changes your opinion or not, or if they're the same regardless of scoring in terms of your order.
I'm still going Cortland Sutton here. He's not been nearly as good over the last few weeks as he was earlier in the season, but I just think he's seeing much more consistent targets than Trey Tucker. It's also an offense. The offense hasn't been great, but it's also an offense that I would rather buy into over the Raiders. So yeah, I think I'm still going Cortland Sutton there.
It's actually scary, Trey Tucker's schedule down the stretch when you look at the defenses he's facing. So, Cleveland this week, but then he has the Chargers, the Broncos, the Eagles, the Texans. And then if you manage to survive that, then you get the Giants. And it's like, okay, well, you have to get to that point first. But yeah, it's pretty gross. So Cortland Sutton also.
And Tucker's this big play receiver, but last week was the first time he'd scored a touchdown since that huge game earlier in the season. So it's not as if it's just not an offense where you're going to see those big plays consistently. You'll get them every so often, but it's just not consistent enough.
That offense is hard to trust right now, just on both sides, from the rushing attack to passing. JT said it, I think, last week, where if you take out that one game, Trey Tucker is honestly, you wouldn't even remotely consider him. But that one game kind of does show it. It tricks us a little bit, but it also shows that he has that ability. It's just maybe I wish it would have been tempered just a little bit, or maybe have back-to-back weeks, and I feel much more comfortable instead of this sporadic like that. But Ben's joined us in the chat. Says, "Good morning, guys. This is a full point PPR, Dave. Chase Brown with Jamar out, but bad matchup versus your Patriots, or Jaylen Warren back after leaving the game early against the Bears without, 27 linebackers they're missing. So I think Jonathan's supposed to catch a plane to line up at weak side today, just so you guys know. Congratulations.
I'm going to go with Chase Brown. I just I don't know how much they're going to use Jaylen Warren. I think if they get to a lead, they're going to manage his reps. So if it was a full healthy Jaylen Warren, I'd go Warren. But I do think that if they either get blown out or they got a lead, that they're going to use Kenny Gainwell as well. I mean, Kenny Gainwell's been great. So there's no reason to force Warren. So purely because of a load management, I'm going to go with Brown.
And I think that's a fair way to approach that. And Ben goes on to say that the Lions are in a smash spot versus a terrible run D. Pay David Montgomery when it's a toss-up, or play David Montgomery when it's a toss-up. And I can understand that. I think there's going back to an earlier question, I can understand that. Good news is you have Sean Tucker in that one play. And as JT knows, is it 32, 33 points guaranteed? Are we going that far for you, buddy?
I don't know if it's that guaranteed, but I just, like I said, I like Sean Tucker as a player. I like him as a prospect, and we've just seen when he gets opportunities, he performs. Now, if you're going in like, I think I get 30 shots, I'm not even that crazy. I just think I think he can have a solid game again, is what I'm saying. Absolutely. I just like him a lot better than Rachaad White. That's all I'm saying. The
Rachaad White hate is adamant and rampant here on the Sunday mornings, which is unfortunate because I have Rachaad White in some spots that I unfortunately don't have many choices otherwise, but it's not about me. It's about, Calvo and company who, Jorge, you're going to pick one between these.
All right.
Parker Washington, Bam Knight, DJ Moore. They all have their, and I think there's a case to be made for each. So I'll let everybody pick their one and we'll see if we can get a consensus. So I'll start with you, Jorge.
I'm assuming this is a PPR, in which case no DJ Moore. So give me Parker Washington.
JT?
Yeah, PPR, I'm going Parker Washington. DJ Moore has just been too inconsistent. You're just not. I mean, we really just don't know. I mean, if you're playing DJ Moore at this point, that's a coin toss. You're like hoping that he has a decent game because he's had some absolute stinkers this year. You just don't know what to do with the Bears there. So I'm probably taking Parker Washington. I just think target share alone, he's going to see more.
How about you, Jonathan?
Yeah, same here. Because correct me if I'm wrong, but Brian Thomas Jr. is out again. So there's still opportunities there in that offense for Parker Washington. So yeah. Agree with you two on that one.
And so I want to jump back. Ben has a question kind of bouncing off of the whole David Montgomery, and it's kind of a would you rather. It's David Montgomery, but him or Ramondre. And I guess what I'll get to, JT, and I'll ask you this. What do you do if you're the Patriots, or what do you think the Patriots coaching staff does after we've seen consecutive weeks of Travion being so successful? We know that when Ramondre's been healthy, it's been gross, but is this the Wally Pipp situation that we all hope to happen, or do we think Ramondre does absorb just enough to make him worthy of even potentially starting over David Montgomery?
Man, it'd be hard to not lean into Henderson. I mean, NFL typically goes hot hand. The guy that's playing well gets it, but it's just talent-wise, player-wise, I'd rather play Monty over Ramondre. I just think more consistency. Maybe Ramondre does get more carries coming back, but I would lean into Monty myself over Ramondre.
The Giants give up so many fantasy points to running backs. It's kind of like smorgasbord day. Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, come on down.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's, I don't want to be let down by assuming that both Montgomery and Gibbs will have double digit plus, but it's it's still safer than thinking that Ramondre is going to jump back in and immediately pick up the workload that he was getting early on. And you hope, like the worst case scenario for many of the Travion Henderson managers is that, I don't even want to say it, but I'm going to say it anyway because I don't believe in the jinx. But let's say he fumbles early on and Ramondre's back. It's the cringe-worthy situation that we hope to obviously avoid. I'll tell you a person I don't want to ever avoid when we see him at the expo is Mr. Scampers, and he's in the chat. Good morning, beautiful people. And Ben does agree you get the 3 linebackers for the question earlier. Charlene needs a running back, though. Jonathan, assuming Jacobs is out, which, first of all, that whole situation is frustrating, if all. You're the Green Bay, finger on the pulse, if you will. Is it just he's trying to tough it out? Like, there's a legitimate chance that he sees back to normal workload, or is it he's going to really frustrate people because he's on the field, he's suited up, but he gets 7 carries?
Yeah, it's kind of like we're kind of in the most frustrating possible sort of scenario here. You'd rather it was just one way or another, and we're kind of in this sort of limbo where I think there's a good chance he suits up, but it's kind of like a 50-50, 60-40 split, and you're kind of hoping with Jacobs that obviously he's been great in the red zone for the Packers for the last 2 years, and so you're kind of hoping that he finds his way into the end zone. And so I'll be honest, I don't have a good answer for it because there's just so many unknowns about like how healthy he actually is going into this game. Right. In terms of the flex, I think I'm probably going Stevenson there. I think it's a situation. Firstly, I think it's probably like the most interesting situation that we have to kind of monitor this week in fantasy football. Is kind of like how much workload does he actually get? I think there's definitely room for both of them. Obviously, we've seen Stevenson. It isn't necessarily like with Henderson. It's not necessarily this like volume play. It's these big plays that he's been kind of hitting these long touchdowns. And so I think there is a possibility for them to kind of coexist in this offense like we've seen with plenty of other backfields. The player that I'm really interested in this week, though, is Tootin, just because we saw him last week with, I think he had the majority of the touches up until his injury. And so he's a player that I'm also really, really interested in this week, just to see if that is something that continues from last week, or if that was just a bit of a flash in the pan.
Yeah, you want to monitor the ankle and see if it's workload this week as well. But so JT, expanding on that, so if we from a running back position between those guys, also need a flex spot, and so Charlene does have Chris Godwin, who's returning to potential snap count. Jorge hates the term snap count, which is fine. Or
no,
pitch count.
Thank you.
Okay, so Chris Godwin could be on a pitch count. Tez Johnson has been solid in, stepping up role type thing, more of a splash play. I think they all have that potential splash upside. But who's your flex out of this group?
I think I'm going Dubs pretty handily. I like Tootin as well. I'm probably going Tootin and Dubs as my 2 guys.
Same.
Right. I'm interested to see what happens to Stevenson this week.
Yeah,
that's going to be the $1 million question. He's definitely shown up late to the party. So what do? Do they just revert him to the running back 2? Does he become the 1? Are they 1A, 1B? Well, it's going to be very interesting to see how they use him.
If we if we ever had time to get around to the fantasy like forecast to look and monitor a situation, that would probably be the only one that we would really have to hyper focus on, other than, as Jonathan alluded to, with Tootin before the injury was seeing almost 45% of the snap rates, had a 20% route share, no targets, but he was making his way to surpass ETN for sure. But Jorge, here's one for you. All right. Begin the trumpets. Mr. Scampers has a non-PPR. look at him catering to
Yep.
the owner. Smart move, savvy move. But non-PPR, David Montgomery versus the Giants, Devonta Smith at the Boys, or Michael Wilson versus Jacksonville. All three interesting matchups.
What I would select is to go to your settings and add PPR. Add 1 point.
Exactly.
That's what I would do. I want to go with Devonta Smith. He's a good big play guy, so I think they look for him. He's definitely getting at least 6 targets a game. I'm taking the risk with Smith. The Cowboys, I mean, they had that massive game against the Giants. They've had a few big point games, so I wouldn't be surprised if this is a high scoring event.
Jorge,
yeah.
I'm sure you have it too.
Yeah, so I agree with Devon. So to explain the rationale here, you have a situation where Jahmyr Gibbs could vulture from David Montgomery. Devonta Smith has been getting the bigger passes. Jacoby Brissett's average depth of target is actually sub 10 yards, so that is kind of concerning. But Michael Wilson's has been 11.4, and we saw what Michael Wilson's did last week. But this secondary for Dallas is just atrocious. So give me Devonta Smith here.
Yeah,
I love how he has everything there. Versus Giants at Dallas, it's perfect. I would appreciate warm regards at the end, though,
or best regards, one of the two.
Yes, exactly. Sincerely is even a good enough.
Or very respectfully, V-R. That's the one
exactly.
we have to use.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty common one I have to throw in there, and I hate it with the passion. So
I do best now. That's my thing. I just put best.
I should start putting latest sucker and then see what happens after.
Yes, 100%.
Might be a lack of employment the next day.
Only in the professional emails. Only in the professional emails.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, damn it, Jorge, you just got back and now you're gone again. What the hell? Yeah.
So JT, Tug Drug Fishing needs to cast a line to you and say, which one's going to reel in the bigger performance this week? Tez Johnson, Christian Watson.
For me, PPR, I think you go Tez. If you're in a big play league, and I feel like I say this every week about Christian Watson, I pretty much only play him in big play leagues where long touchdowns or long passes or bonus points, because I feel like he can score you more that way. I'm probably going Tez just for the floor. For me, I lean him over Watson because you are, again, counting on a big play for Watson to cash in for you.
Yeah, I think that if there was another area of the games to watch is to see if last week's, what we always want out of
2 tutties last week.
Yeah,
the
20% target share is the area that I have always wanted. If we saw that out of any Green Bay wide receiver, if it was sustainable, they would immediately move up 10 spots in my rankings every week, because I trust, a pass funnel to go to, if it could go to one person. I don't like to trust when it's every given week, the 4 of us or the 5 of us could say Romeo Doubs, Christian Watson, insert random 3, could have been Tucker Kraft, running back situation. So, but Tez Johnson, good luck. Hope you catch a W this week, Tug. All right.
Baker's got to shake off his rust. He's been a little bit off the last couple of games.
Jorge?
Man,
nope, fail.
What? No, I'm trying to get you the best. It's
Taylor Swift correlation to his shake it off.
Well, first of all, I think he's from Jonathan's neck of the woods with the defense with the C versus the S, unless that's not how you all do it.
Oh, I hadn't even clocked that. Good man.
Thank you.
That's actually still incorrect, even for
is
English.
It really? Well, then I'm sorry, Ray. Sorry,
that's more like when you talk about defenses in defense for defense force.
Huh? What? No, it's not. Okay, whatever. Anyhow, give me Atlanta versus New Orleans. Just Divine Diablo's getting back there at the linebacking core of the secondary. Xavier Watts, Jesse Bates, Jalen Walker, James Pierce, these young rookies at defensive end, just all from front to back. This defense for Atlanta is going to have a fun day against Tyler Show. I'm not going to call him Tyler Shuck because I don't care if it's Old English spelling or not. I don't like how it looks. So
I don't like where this show's going. It's going off the rails. First of all, you bring up Taylor Swift, and then
I didn't bring up Taylor Swift this time.
I know I try to throw you a little softball just because that's the type of host that I am. Nice, easy one that all the guys would get the reference. Then you guys just insult Rav B and the spelling.
That was
how you
Dave.
spell. It was a collective, both you two. It was the royal we or royal you or royal I or whatever they say there. All right, JT, here. Try not to insult Ben, and you get to pick one: Barrett Carter, Devin Bush, D. Winters, or Byron Young. Don't know the scoring format, so we're going to assume.
I'm just going to guess it's more tackle heavy than sack heavy. If it's sack heavy, you maybe want to lean Byron Young. I'm probably, for safest, I'm probably playing D. Winters. He's been a little underwhelming this year, but last week, 10 tackles, 5 solo, 5 assists. So he's in the mix. Carter, like Jorge said earlier in the show, he's tailing off a bit here for the young rookie, and my Devin Bush hate will never ever end. So I can't ever play Devin Bush in any scenario. So D. Winters for me is the play here, unless it's a much more sack heavy league and you want to take that chance and take Byron Young, that I can see going Byron Young, but safe floor D. Winters just for tackles.
Yes, I believe Devin Bush, if I'm not mistaken, JT, in a specific league that we might have been playing, didn't Devin Bush have a interception return for a touchdown?
He did.
I think he did. Oh yeah. By the way, everybody, JT was undefeated. He's still at the top of the league.
Still mad about it. Still knocking off my 20-0 season. Nate last week took me down. A couple players really hung me out to dry last week in the Fantasy and Frames League.
Yep. It's always the way it goes. You got to get that loss out of the way before the playoffs. That's what you want to do, right? You never want to be undefeated.
I think you were highest scorer, and I was second highest scorer. I was positive. I looked at it. I was like, of course he beat me, and I second highest scorer of the week. I'm like, unreal.
Had to put up. That was mostly Devin Bush. I don't even know if that was the same week or not, but I figured I could segue. Right. Even if I was incorrect, I was going to use it to just bring up something that is always fun. I want to bring up something that's not so much fun sometimes. Is choosing if you want to start both running backs from the same team. Dave, I'll swing back to you because Bijan is Charlene's number one. So then do you lean heavy and say, you know what, I'm going to go Tyler Algier. I know he's going to vulture at least maybe one touchdown, and there's enough to go around. Or do you pivot to Jordan Mason, who has seeded carries ever since Aaron Jones has returned, and it's getting worse by the week? Or do you think otherwise? You think it may shift back to a 50-50 split, or at least more conducive to Mason over what Algier's carry load will be?
I'm going to go with Algier because they do use him as the goal line back. Minnesota do tend to use Aaron Jones still in the at the goal line. They kind of use Mason more in the middle of the field as a change of pace guy. So I'd rather chance it. I mean, look, I'm not expecting high points, but I'd rather chance and hope that Algier falls in the end zone.
There you go.
And then also you get less annoyed by the fact that Bijan's just had a touchdown vultured from him because you're like, I've still scored the touchdown.
I was going to make the same point. I'd rather just play both the guys and hope that one of them gets a touchdown and I feel better about it than taking a chance that Mason does nothing. Plus, he's been getting almost no carries near the goal line, at all. I'm the same way. I'd rather play Algier and Bijan, playing both.
Yeah,
agreed.
Perfect. Well, Jorge, what about you in the PPR format between Roma Dunze and Michael Pittman?
Give me Roma Dunze here. We already talked about earlier how the Chiefs defense has been pretty stingy to wide receivers, and we know that Daniel Jones likes to lock into Michael Pittman, which I'm sure if they know that and we know that, I'm pretty sure Kansas City knows that as well. So
we hope, but knowing and doing sometimes are two different things. I know that we're going to help Ryan H with this question. Will we do it? I don't know. I'll let you guys decide. You don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but I'm going to put the onus on each one of you guys. It says, good morning. Pleasantry to start off. Good. Down big after playing Josh Allen. Shit happens. Concerned about matchups as I plan to play Alec Pierce, Roman Wilson, maybe?
I believe it's
Michael
Roman
Wilson.
Michael Wilson's probably
Michael
better.
Wilson.
Thank
Yeah.
God. That makes me feel a lot
Wow.
better. Oh, thank
Yeah.
God.
Wow. Yeah.
That's
okay.
much better. And then Trey Tucker should pick up Tajay Spears, Kareem Hunt, or Darnell Mooney instead. It's a standard league.
Kareem Hunt shouldn't be on waivers. I mean, I'm not saying he's a stud, but he should be owned.
Because
I
Pacheco's
would
out,
agree.
correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, correct.
Yeah,
So yeah, then
Definitely go with Hunt.
And especially in a standard league, Kareem Hunt is the prototypical,
Yeah.
goal line exclusively. So,
Yeah.
I say Hunt, and then I don't know if you have to start Hunt over any of the if those are 3 flex spots or if those are just your 3 wide receiver spots. But definitely, are we all in agreement? It would be.
Oh, he
for
said
sure.
Emmanuel Wilson, not Michael Wilson.
Oh,
running-
gotcha. Running back.
If Josh Jacobs doesn't play,
Yeah, Eugene, as I call him, by the way.
I now that I've made that mistake a bazillion times, I went back and double checked. He's Emmanuel 1M Wilson for me, not 2 M's. So
Eugene
gotcha.
Wilson used to play for Illinois. He was an Illini player, played with Bates. Yeah, I
On,
always think Eugene too.
But on Wednesday nights, whenever we've gotten a lot of the Wilson conversation, I've just relegated to saying Eugene. And so as a running little joke, we now just call him Gene Wilson. No one understands if you've never listened to the show or you don't at least follow any of our stupidity / humor. But yeah, old Gene. But so, man, all right. So would you drop?
That could also be Sean Tucker as well, rather than Trey Tucker.
Yes. There's a lot of going on, Ryan. Man.
Wow, Ryan, way to not throw in a first initial there. You're really messing with.
This is why we're big on grammar, like the other guy who.
Exactly.
Yeah, come on, guys.
Hey,
see?
skip question.
us
Go to the
trying
next
like
one.
he's-
Have Ryan retype it. Right. Have Ryan retype it with the first letters and everybody's name and come back.
Yeah,
Can he do
let's
it?
connect those 2 guys together, and he can teach them how to put together. A first.
Right. And I'm sure he'll have. I hope this message receives you well. And then at the end of me,
Best regards. Okay.
best regards.
To whom it may concern.
Well wishes. All right. But here, we can do this one at least. Atlanta, assuming we all can think that does mean Atlanta, not any other specific defense, because I can't think of anything, or Philly. Still
Atlanta.
down big from playing Josh Allen.
Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dallas. Last time I checked, still has CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens. That's always going to be a concern. So give me Atlanta. Yeah.
Gotcha. All right, for Zills with this morning, fellas, wondering if you're going to start Kyle Pitts or Jawan Johnson, Christian Watson or Kayshon Boutte, and then finally Kyle Monangai or Sean Tucker. JT, I'm going to start with you, and I'm not going to give you the Sean Tucker, Kyle Monangai question. I'm going to let you choose the Kyle Pitts or Jawan Johnson.
Man, that's a toughie. That one's close. Even though I hate the Saints offense and the QB play, Jawan Johnson's been getting targets. Like he's been like the one consistent
Sean
guy on
Tucker.
offense that they've been getting to. So I think Jawan Johnson's the guy I want to go with for the Saints. I just think he's going to get a bunch of targets. Pitts, maybe, but what Cousins are we getting today? Are we going to get old school Cousins? It's pretty accurate. Hits Pitts all over. Are we going to get Cousins who's throwing the ball, can't get rid of it, taking sacks everywhere, and then they decide we just got to run the ball constantly? So I'm going Jawan Johnson for me here.
I have them back to back in rankings, so I can
As
go
I said,
either way.
They're like right next to each other, right?
They really are. So, all right, Dave, how about the next one? So between Christian Watson or Kayshon Boutte.
Give me that Boutte. He's Drake May's the most accurate deep ball passer. Boutte's always good for 1 or 2, looks there. So I think he's good for at least 50 yards and a tutty.
There could be legitimately, a really, really high scoring game, especially if Bengals can at least continue to move the ball down the field like we've seen. Speaking, not to get off on a tangent, but is anybody else completely surprised that why are they bringing Joe Burrow back? I mean, why would you even risk doing this?
He's out, isn't he? Already he's out.
He's
No,
not
yeah,
playing.
but I mean,
They brought the
Thursday.
window back.
Wednesday
I think these next couple games are going to snap. I think if
Why?
they're completely out of the playoffs,
Yeah.
I think they end up not playing him.
For
But I do
fantasy
want to say real
managers-
quick while we're bringing this up,
No.
is just come across Aaron Rodgers out today for the Steelers. Aaron
He
Rodgers
is, okay.
not going to suit up
And-
today.
and also-
Officially on the official board.
And also some news. Ryan was saying Sean Tucker, not Trey Tucker. But then we'll get back to that in a second.
Gotcha. So then I think. All right. So how about that? We'll use that
Is
to
Bucky
pivot to-
formally out? Is Bucky officially out
Yes.
today?
Yeah.
He is,
Bucky.
okay.
Yep. So Sean Tucker, Kyle
Okay,
Manon
Sean
guy.
Tucker. Yeah,
Sean
Sean Tucker.
Yeah, it's okay.
Charlene, let's do this question here, and then we'll circle back and make sure we just hit the Ryan question as far as making sure we have all the players correct with that. Is Isaiah Hodgins or Roman Wilson? Who wants to jump on this grenade?
Well, is it not? I mean, it's still bad, right? But I think with Aaron Rodgers out, that makes it a little bit less. No, it's still bad. Isaiah Hodgins, obviously.
Yeah, that really hurts on my.
I hate the
Roman
fact that it is Hodges over Roman Wilson. As a Steelers fan, this
Get the
should be
waiver
a
wire,
guarantee.
Charlene.
Like, absolutely take Roman Wilson, but it's not, which is really, really sad that it is.
Who's on waivers, Charlene? Give us the top 3 options on waivers. Because truth be told, I'm probably not going with any of them.
I mean, that might be the answer. No, the answer is just no.
Just leave it blank.
Leave it blank. So, all right. Good morning. Good morning to you, Ryan.
This is circling back.
I know it is. I know it is. He's down big. So Josh Allen got him in a. So this was now, but we've decided it is Alec Pierce.
Isn't this the same question?
It is.
Yes, it is. But no,
Yes, but we worked out who the players are now.
Oh,
Then we
now
it's Trey. It's Sean Tucker. And so
it's
out of those 3, should he drop anyone and pick up Spears, Hunt, or Mooney? Well, if Jacobs is playing, then I would drop Emmanuel, 1M Wilson, and pick up Kareem Hunt. Anybody else disagree?
Hunt should be owned. I think he's in Yahoo leagues 70% owned. So
yeah,
shouldn't be on waivers, especially today.
And it might not have to drop anybody. It didn't really say should I drop any of the people, but I mean I think that's kind of assumed. But in standard leagues, Kareem Hunt definitely is. I have him probably higher than. I mean, honestly, I'll put him up there with Sean Tucker, and I could make a case that I would start Hunt over Tucker, but not a strong case. Kind of a weak case, but a case nonetheless.
I mean, he's technically the lead back today. Why wouldn't you? I mean, I love Sean Tucker, don't get me wrong, but he is technically the 2. Did fantastic last week. I get it, but if Rashad White goes on a hot streak, we might not see that much of Sean Tucker.
Yeah. What time is the Green Bay game, Jonathan? Is that noon?
That's in the early slate, I think.
Yeah, it's a 10 o'clock game.
I think yeah.
I get the feeling that for all 5 of us, it's going to be, except for me.
Yeah, it's a different
time for us. Jonathan's like, no, it's about 6:30.
It's at 6 p.m. Yeah.
Is that right? Look
Yeah.
at that.
Early games at 6 p.m.
Yeah. I was guessing, by the way, and I have no clue. But let's not guess at Charlene's question. Let's try to actually formulate a strong wisdom-backed and reason, which is 1 running back, 2 flex. Jorge, I want you to choose the running back here between Kenneth Gainwell, Javonte Williams.
Javonte Williams. I'll go with Javonte Williams.
Excellent. So now we get 2 flex. JT, give me one of the flexes here between maybe Gainwell or Javonte, Trey Tucker, Brenton Strange, Mark Andrews, AJ Barner. I know we don't know if it's tied in premium league. I know it's going to be your question because it should be. We're going to assume it's not.
Sorry, I was getting frozen computer there for a second. So I'm taking a flex play between these guys?
Yeah, but we'll assume it's not tied in premium for now.
Okay. Probably Javonte. Tied in premium. I'm playing Andrews. That's
he needs 2. So he needs a running. She needs a running back and 2 flex.
Okay. Yeah. So Javonte is my running back, 2 flex.
Right.
I'm playing Andrews. Sorry about that. I'm playing Andrews. I'm going to go Gainwell over Barner and Strange just because I think, especially with no Aaron Rodgers, I think the Steelers are going to try to give as many carries. But I wouldn't be surprised if you see 15-plus touches out of Warren and Gainwell both today. Yeah. I think you could see a lot of ground game, a lot of dump-off passes for both those guys.
And I'm sure, Charlene, if it is tight end premium, we can probably, we may skew our answer just a little bit to fit that narrative. I could make a case for Barner being into that conversation.
I was going to say Barner would have been like right there for me. And if it's a big enough tight end premium, I maybe would go Barner over Gainwell. But if there's no tight end premium, I'm probably going Gainwell just for amount of touches.
You guys remember the barnyard dog, Gary Barnage?
Oh yeah, Barnkowski.
Yeah.
I got
you. There was 1 year he was pretty elite. It was like 1 year. I want to say 20.
1 year, yeah, exactly.
17, 18.
That's like almost every Browns player, right? Like they had one awesome year and then they disappeared. Mm-hmm. It's like there's just so many Browns players over the years have had one amazing fantasy season and then they disappear.
Who's the amazing player this year? It's definitely not.
I hope
Shador,
it's not. Well, I don't know if anybody's amazing, but
I
hope it's not Quinshon Judkins. I hope it's not a one and done for him.
I know exactly.
Or Finnan, or Fannin.
Oh, you mean Cedric Tillman?
Yeah, that's right.
That's exactly what I mean. He did say fantastic seasons.
That's true. Yeah, he has to have a season first. The highest,
exactly.
This is Shador's chance to show that he's not deserving of a 5th round pick because I don't know, man. What I saw last week, it was not pretty. But
we give him a week of. I say
he's got a chance.
I don't believe here, and it doesn't matter.
He came into the fourth quarter and played like 3 series. Let's give the young man a break. I mean,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying like he's got to prove like the small sample size we had, he did not do great, but he's got a full chance today. So let's see. Should he have been a 1st round pick? He's got a chance to prove it today.
Well, there was no way that no matter the outcome last week, if he came in and he threw 4 passes and completed 3 of the 4, the world would have exploded because he's him and it's proven everything in 4 passes. If he comes in and he completes 0 of 4 passes, the people that say he's the worst quarterback ever are going to say, see, it fit my narrative. So it's such a bipolar perception of Shador after 15 minutes of football that I hate it. I hate
his arrogance brought on himself, though. Let's be honest.
I don't disagree with that aspect. I 100% don't disagree, but I also am like, I don't want to take a side because I don't think he's going to be the next coming of a great NFL quarterback. But I just shut up because it's not worth having to fight over like I said, 14 minutes of football with the people that are going to believe.
Shador was my number 1 coming in. Like I actually really like Shador. So I hit it hard when he fell in the draft because I thought he should have been a 1st round pick for sure. We're going to see. I still think he has the talent. He obviously has some things he needs to work on. I brought it up in many article over the last season, but I still think he could be good. I will say the one place I didn't want him to go was Cleveland. I was like, if he goes to Cleveland, I think he could be finished. And he went to Cleveland. So I'm not super stoked on the fact that he's in Cleveland. To me is bad. I do think he's going to play better than he did last week. He's going to play better. He is better, but like, again, he's still got a lot to prove.
So just announced Josh Jacobs out this week.
Okay. So I probably
at least they did it early, right? Instead of giving us 3 minutes to make adjustments in our lineup. He's out right for the game.
So going back to Ryan's question, I'm starting Wilson over. I would move Wilson over Hunt.
Yeah.
Just a smidge myself.
That was literally I've got a league where I've got Kamara, Hunt, and Wilson, and I didn't know which 2 to start.
I do like Kamara in this week, and I know he's tough to trust, tough to start, but yeah. So here, let's go with Kalagiri 1044. Good morning. Trey Tucker, Rashid Shaheed, Luther Burden. It's a standard league, so I'll always revert, Jorge, to you for standard league questions because I know this makes you the most happy of the rest of us.
Trey Tucker.
You don't need to back it up with any reason.
No, he's a big play wide receiver. Yes, I understand there's competition with Brock Bowers, but the secondary here for Cleveland doesn't exactly scare me. Rashid Shaheed, he's gotten 5 targets the past couple weeks, so it's not exactly awe-inspiring. And Luther Burden, we're all hoping it's a Luther Burden breakout week, but we don't know it's a Luther Burden breakout week. We've seen Trey Tucker be that target there for Vegas, so give me Trey Tucker.
There you go. Jay's with us this morning. Good morning, bud. He says it's full point PPR, 6 point, 100-yard bonus for the position. So you start 2 wide receivers and 3 flex. So he's already starting at wide receiver 1, Tedero McMillan, and he's starting in his flex, Trey McBride. So now we need 1 other wide receiver and 2 other flex. So let's start with the wide receiver, the other wide receiver spot between Juwan Jennings, Alec Pierce, and Michael Wilson. Dave,
Jennings.
I'm going with Wilson. I mean, he looked good. You got Brissett there. He likes him. What's it called? Marvin Harrison. So I think Wilson's got a good chance to feast today.
Yeah,
so
I agree. Yeah, Brissett's just been like too consistent and has just raised the floor of everyone in that offense. So yeah, I'm going Wilson as well.
So then on his other flex spot, looks like he's going Travion Henderson. So McBride and Hendo are the 2 flex of the 3 potential. Or would anybody sub out Jennings, Pierce, Kenneth Walker, Mike Wilson over Henderson?
I'm worried Henderson goes back to his bench duties, just riding pine. I'm worried. It's Mike variable. Even though Henderson's been great, I just can't see them handing the number 1 role to Henderson and Stevenson not being there. I mean, I'm just saying Henderson's got less carries to do his damage. He's been a 3-down back for the last couple of weeks. You can't tell me that Ramondre's coming back and they're just going to give him 2 carries, right?
This thing I don't know.
Sorry, I was going to say because I don't disagree with you, but the fantasy argument against that is the fact that he's playing the Bengals, and so we've seen this like big playability from Henderson, and so yes, he may see fewer carries. I think he will obviously see fewer carries, but the potential for him to score fantasy points with those carries, I think, is still worth starting him. Like I'm starting Henderson everywhere I've got him, simply because against that Bengals defense, I think it's worth that risk for those big plays.
So looking at the past month and looking at the average number of points per game teams give up to the position, and I'll just throw in even IDP players, and we know like linebackers score up a lot of points here, even across like the entire gamut of positional players you could have in fantasy football. The Bengals, in terms of the average allowed to running backs, is so far above every single position in fantasy football the past month, averaging 36.3 fantasy points allowed to the running back position. So, yeah, whether it's Ramondre or Hendo's going to get his. He may not be like what it was against the Jets last week, but he'll get you in the double digits if you're in half or full PPR.
Jay, I hope that answers that for you. And as we'll sign off on that one, as Mr. Scampers would say in LYSMKTB. Love you so much. K, thanks, bye. And that's how we should all sign off going forward. If you guys have a lot to say.
I thought he was legit saying goodbye. That makes me sad. Okay.
No, he's not going. I mean, he could. That was also
10:40,
25 minutes ago. So
yeah.
let's start doing some rapid fire to get through some of these. If you're still here with the question, I apologize for. Honestly, I'm not gonna say I apologize. I do apologize.
We did start like an hour later than usual, so we're kind of like
But I like validating.
Why did we do that, by the way?
We're gonna get to these questions. I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying.
Why did we start an hour later?
Well, for those who celebrate, it's the holidays and people are getting ready for Thanksgiving and travel plans and all sorts of stuff. So it happens.
Fair enough.
Christian Watson, Sean Tucker, full point PPR.
Gonna go with Mr. Randy Watson. No, I'm just kidding. Sean Tucker here. I don't care if it's PPR or not. Give me Sean Tucker. Watson is a standard league played. Dubs would be the PPR league. That's not the question. Give me Sean Tucker.
I think I'm going to leave Watson.
All right. So one Tucker, one Watson. JT, are you Tucker?
It's not by much, though. It's not by much.
I'm going Tucker as well.
So
no, I didn't think you were asking me. I figured you knew I was.
I know. I just always want to make sure. I was like, well, what if this was a big play scoring format? Then make you question it. But we know it's not because it's full.
I would still get Sean Tucker.
Exactly. All right. Dare you to join. Need help. Ashton Jeanty has a tough matchup. Tough enough that he's actually one of my sits this week from Wednesday night's Fantasy and Frame show.
Jeanty sucks, man. He shouldn't have been a first-round pick. Let's just be honest.
Oh, that's harsh.
The Raiders' offensive line is garbage. When you allow like barely a yard before contact on average, and like the Browns are near, I think, second in the NFL in terms of yards before contact or first tackle attempt, if you want to call whatever it is. It's a tough matchup, but he needs a win to keep the playoff hopes alive. He or she does. Who should I start over Ashton Jeanty? Bishal Tootin, Luther Burden, Adonai Mitchell, drop Mitchell for Yoshivas, full PPR. None of those I'm starting over Jeanty. As much as I don't like Ashton Jeanty this week, I can't do that. Would I drop AD Mitchell for Yoshivas? 100%, in my opinion. I think Yoshivas is actually one of my plays of the week this week, specifically because of, obviously, no Jamar Chase. But then, more importantly, is the matchup just screams Yoshivas out of the slot. It was production should be there, unless someone disagrees with anything I just said.
Nate, I was just going to say, the only question for me, and tell me if this affects your thinking at all, Gesicki coming back. Typically, when he hasn't played, Yoshivas has been really good and involved. When Gesicki plays, he's less. But we've seen Noah Fant kind of come in and do that. What's your thoughts on Yoshivas versus Fant versus Gesicki with him coming back? Because I have Gesicki in a ton of leagues, and I'm kind of like trying to figure out, like, do I get him in there? Do I keep Yoshivas in there instead in a flex play? What would you think?
So I wish, I could say the full PPR helped the Yoshivas case. The only reason why is while the Patriots have been really good to the wide receiver position as a whole, I do think Christian Gonzalez against T. Higgins is going to isolate, and I think they're going to remove T. Higgins from that. I think they'll move safeties over top to help, et cetera. And the slot position, while it hasn't been hyper productive, I think they're 16th in the NFL in terms of fantasy points allowed to the slot position. But if you're going to find an area to exploit, it's been out of the slot. That's where they've allowed the majority of their passing touchdowns to go to, is our receivers out of the slot. And I think Yoshivas probably won't be high production PPR upside. Like, I don't expect 10 targets and 7 catches for 79 and a score, but I think 4 for 45, 4 for 60 and a touchdown is a reasonable expectation. And I think that's more than asking, especially out of a slot play. But that is interesting, though. The Gesicki part does have me a little concerned because I just don't think there's enough offense to go around specifically that matchup, just because the defense is so tough.
So you brought up a very good point there in terms of slot points allowed. So New England, according to Razzball, they're 8th in fantasy points allowed to the slot wide receiver position. So yeah, Yoshivas, I may have to bump him up even more than I have him right now.
I'm trying to think if maybe I'm also spitballing, so I might have just said 6th.
Well, you gave
it compelling
no,
wrong
that's
argument.
Good though.
If you don't know, say it with conviction, and people will believe you. But don't do that. Because, I don't want to lie. Yeah. But Moggs is in the chat. Lake, back like a lad, of course. Good morning to you always. Albert says, with Rodgers been ruled out, we did get to that. So defensive line question for you and JT, Jorge. Cameron Hayward, Chris Jones, Jalen Phillips are in his lineup or her lineup. Oh, it's been in his lineup right now. Has Devin Bush the linebacker spot, JT? I know that makes you happy. Would y'all consider Mike Green over any of them? He has dual designation on sleeper. Are you starting Mike Green over Hayward, Jones, Phillips, or Devin Bush?
No, I would not.
JT, agreement?
Yeah. Now, sorry to interrupt, but JT, but Ben, if Draymond Jones is available as a defensive lineman in your sleeper league, I would want him from Baltimore. Recently traded from Tennessee, converted defensive tackle to defensive end / edge rusher, has been playing lights out when he was in Tennessee. First game with the Ravens, played excellently. He is the only edge rusher / defensive lineman I want from the Baltimore Ravens, and I would play Draymond Jones over Chris Jones, just to give you an idea of what's going on.
Yeah. Well, JT, take this one. Caleb Williams or Jacoby Brissett?
Okay, I was waiting for you to see if you're going to do the whole question. I'm probably playing Caleb Williams over Jacoby Brissett. I think but I will say, just like last week, I have absolutely not picked right on Caleb Williams all year. Every time I'm like, play him, I play him. He's terrible. Every time I'm like, all right, I'm over this. I'm sitting him. He plays awesome. So maybe just do the George Costanza thing, do the opposite of George, like where my instinct says play Caleb Williams. So maybe that says play Brissett, because I just have not been able to read him. I'm a little nervous with Caleb Williams, especially if you're in any league that takes sacks as negative points. I'm a little nervous because you just never know if the Steelers, what kind of game they're going to bring. Like, they've either had a million sacks or none from week to week. So I have him in a couple of leagues where it's negative points for sacks, and I'm real nervous in that he takes a bunch of sacks, even though he's been better lately. That he takes sacks and gets me less points. And Singletary, DJ Moore, I'm probably playing DJ Moore, even though I know we've already talked about DJ Moore has been really tough, but I'd probably lean the stack with Caleb Williams and DJ Moore and just pray that they put it together and he gets them for one touchdown and you get the double up.
Yeah, I was hoping Dave was going to be back so I could ask him any question about Devin Singletary, because it makes me happy, because, of course, after last week, I made sure he was aware, and Devin Singletary he's my Sean Tucker for UJT. All right, Jonathan. Charlene says, so it was for a flex spot. Waiver options are Darnell Washington, DeAndre Hopkins, Van Jefferson, Tim Patrick, Devon Bailey in 7th place, projected to win this matchup even with this hot mess. Sorry, that was not a question. That was just a comment, and I should have done that before. Earlier, it was half-point tight end premium for the AJ Barner question.
Was this the Isaiah Hodgins and
it was
one where we asked if there was anyone else on? Did we ask at that point if there were anyone else?
Yeah,
if there was anyone else on waivers?
Yeah, I don't think I was pick up anyone. I don't think any of them would move the needle for me necessarily. And if the AJ Barner question from earlier was half-point tight end premium, I'd probably move AJ Barner into that second flex spot question that JT and I both have talked about. So Scampers has a Scott Fishbowl question. Congratulations for making the playoffs in Scott Fishbowl. Congratulations to all Fantasy and Frames family members that made Scott Fishbowl. Nate's not one of them this year for the first time in 5 years. Kind of disappointing. It's kind of sad. So I don't even want to answer this question. I'm gonna let you guys do it.
I missed the playoffs Brooks too, so you're not alone.
All right, so it's between the actual fantasy guy, the playoff guys, Jonathan and Jorge. Taj Brooks against the Patriots, Tyler Goodson at the Chiefs, or Raheem Mostert versus Cleveland. Yeah, that's Scott Fishbowl question in a nutshell right there. So, Jorge, start with you.
So I actually like Mostert in this situation because correct me if I'm wrong, but Scott Fishbowl still includes special teams yards, right, this year, or was that just last year? Because if it's this year, we've actually seen Mostert participate in doing some special teams.
I think that was last year.
Okay, well then it's still Mostert because
I don't know. I think you still maybe get some points for special teams. They're just not amped up as high as they were last year. I know last year they were like amped through the roof. So I still do think we are getting special teams points. They're just not quite as high as it was last year.
I mean, Goodson, no. JT is going to take all the snaps this year. Taj Brooks, Nate, you on Fourth and Frames were talking about how, there should be some type of tempering of expectations for Chase Brown. Well, if we have tempering expectations for Chase Brown, well, then what the hell are we doing with Taj Brooks here? So give me Raheem Mostert.
There you go. Sorry, Scampers. No, hello, first round exit is not true. You're gonna pull through because Raheem Mostert's gonna vulture some production somehow, some way. We shall see.
If anything was to happen with Genty, Mostert is a pretty good backup. It's a good option to have.
He would be a must start.
Yeah. No. Nope.
No.
Sorry, Chris, if you're still here after that now, morning. Would you flex Tez Johnson, Luther Burden, or Devin Singletary?
This is body delay.
I'm used to it.
No, it's not.
No.
I'm a very gentle soul. Dave, here's one for you. Would you start Tez Johnson, Luther Burden, or Devin Singletary, Mr. 2 touchdowns himself?
I got your text.
Multiple texts.
Every time. As soon as Singletary scores, I'm just waiting for Nate to text him. I'm going Tez. I'm still not going single carry. You saw how much Tracy was still worked in. I mean, Singletary definitely is the goal line back. That's for sure. Am I expecting him to have a close game? I don't think so. Not as much. So I think Tez Johnson's good for, a handful of deep balls and some in the middle as well.
Yeah, you know my answer.
No matter what. Okay.
See, Nate is just unreasonable, and that, I don't know. I don't remember what that's about, but I probably will agree with you. I am not unreasonable at all. Pedro Santos says, "Greetings from Portugal.
Hey,
who should I start?"
Nice.
Hey, I know. What time is it in Portugal? You think? What are they on?
Probably
That
similar to
is-
Jonathan.
I think
It's the exact same time.
Eastern.
Exact same time.
Oh,
All right,
wait,
Jonathan.
Portugal. Never mind.
Where were you thinking?
Not Europe. No, I'm an idiot.
You were in
Never mind.
South America, weren't you?
I was in South America. Yeah, like a dumbass.
Hey. Some things are just better left in your head.
I know, right?
Nope.
Nope, that's not right, Jorge. Shut up. Oh, wait, I already said it out loud. I've already
You're probably
committed.
thinking Brazil because they talk Portuguese.
Portuguese, exactly. That's
Yeah.
exactly what I was.
Nope. I was not. And I was still thinking Central America for some reason. I don't know why I was thinking.
I don't have an excuse. My name is Jorge. Okay, I don't have.
You do not. Yeah. I'm from Missouri. I don't know geography, but I do know fantasy football, I think. So I'll still let Jonathan answer this.
If it's
As
not
the
America,
RB2.
it doesn't count.
Okay, we're not gonna.
There's American and others.
This is the
It's not
holiday
American.
week. Togetherness.
Not-
Let's
this is
focus.
Thanksgiving. I'm
We're just
thankful
joking.
for.
We're joking.
Jonathan, who are you
Right.
more thankful for as your RB2 this week? Bashal Tootin, Trey Tucker, Ramondre, Tyrone Tracy, or Kenneth Gainwell?
I think it's Sean Tucker, but yeah,
What'd I say?
Trey.
Oh, yeah. Why do I? I'm not going
Trey Tucker, no matter what for Nate this week. Cedric
It
Tillman
does
for
make sense.
me.
It's all running backs, and I'm like, I'm going to throw just as an RB2. He's going to ask a wide receiver.
It's like
just to keep
Eugene
us on our
Wilson. I'm just going
toes.
to call Tuckers by their different names just to throw people off.
Well, it says, who should I start as my RB2?
I understand. I know.
And I'm like, what is wrong with me? I don't even read half. I just rattle off, try to get good segue so it sounds good, but clearly not. So, all right, Jonathan, what do you think? Tootin' Tucker,
This is
Ramondre,
tough.
Tracy Gainwell.
We've spoken about him a lot. I do really like both Ramondre and Henderson in this matchup. I think he still sees a decent amount of work. I think there's a good chance that both of them find the end zone. So I think I'm going Ramondre.
I'm going to go Tracy on this one. I just don't know what they're going to do. The Patriots going to do in that backfield. I don't know. Does it Ramondre go back to being the one? They split? Who knows? I don't know. It's just not worth the risk. You got Tyrone Tracy who got 15, 20 touches last week. I'd rather that safety net of knowing he might get 50 yards and a touchdown. I mean, I think he still got 14 points last week. It's not too bad out of an RB2.
He saw targets as well. I think it was something like 3 or 4 targets.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not a bad chat.
Hooray,
Yeah.
on to the next question, please.
All right.
I'll let you.
All right, so we got Jalen Warren or no, that's
Who's
no,
Michael Pittman.
Oh, Michael.
Pittman,
Is it
right? Am I saying that right?
Pittman or is
Ja-
there someone with the last name Pitt?
No, Pittman.
I'm not aware.
Unless he's saying it's not Tyler
Pitts.
Warren, obviously. So Pitts, Kyle Pitts. Is it Pittman or Pitts? Come on, Frosty. Sorry to get Frosty, but we need some clarification. Is it short for Pittman or is it lacking an S for Pitts? We need to know. Looks like Rod is out. Come on, man! You're just throwing all sorts of things.
I'm playing Jalen Warren over Pitts anyway.
Whoever
and
else.
it's probably
Okay.
pretty up in the air on Warren and Pittman. I probably would slightly lean Warren, though I do like Pittman. I'd probably slightly lean Jalen Warren over Pittman, unless the PPR is crazy.
There we go. All right, let's get the Moggs' question here. Superflex PPR, 3-parter, if memory serves me correctly, as I was scrolling down the screen. Okay. Part 1, wide receiver. Mooney, Coker, Hollywood Brown, Kendrick Bourne, DeAndre Hopkins, Jonathan, you have the pleasure of this one.
Oh, so I think of those. I'm kind of going through them, just kind of going no, and it's kind of leaving me with
running out of
them.
options.
Yeah. I think possibly Jalen Coker.
Okay.
Mooney's the one, right? I mean, you've got London who's out for 3-4 weeks, right?
The problem with Mooney is that we had this conversation a few weeks ago, and it was literally exactly the same, where London was out, Cousins was in, and we're like, oh, it'll probably be good enough. But the fact is that Mooney has barely just put up any points this year, and Mooney, the big thing with Mooney is the deep balls, and we've seen from Cousins that he just doesn't have the arm anymore.
So if this makes it easier, he added one more option, John Mechie, which it does not make it easier, but
no.
I'm going Hollywood. Everybody there. This is the quarterback wide receiver connection I want. So give me that. Let's keep going through some more questions rapid fire as we are getting closer and closer ever so to creeping up on our exit stage, right? Ronnie Daniel says, morning fellas, Browns, Bears, Jags, or Raiders defense this week. Man, the Bears have no linebackers, right, JT? They have Ruben Opelite, aka Hippolyte. That's my Taylor Swift connection. You're welcome. Glad Nate's not here to hear that. I would go with the Browns defense here in this situation, and I don't like it. So there we go. That's
I wasn't aware the Raiders had a defense.
Moggs, okay, part 2 of his question. Likely or Otten in the tight end spot? If Otten, do I flex Likely and play another wide receiver from part 1? And said, Jesus, okay, you got to type all these together like in a big paragraph. I'm just kidding, but I'm not. Let's get to the first part first. Isaiah Likely or Cade Otten? Dave.
Otten. I think he gets more looks from Baker. Andrews has kind of cemented himself now with Lamar Jackson back as the guy. Likely is just not getting the looks. So, I'm taking the flyer with Otten. I don't like flexing a tight end. Usually never turns out great. Tight ends have a tendency to possibly give you a big goose egg, so don't risk it.
So then out of the wide receivers then to flex, would it be Mooney, Coker, Mechie, D-Hop, or Kendrick Bourne?
I know it's not great, but I'm going to risk it with Mooney. I think he gets the targets. What he does with it, I don't know, but he's probably likely getting 8 or 9 targets.
All right.
I was going to say the same thing. I was going to say Otten, play, like you said, Hollywood in your wide receiver, play Otten and Mooney. Otten and tight end, Mooney in the flex. That's what I would do, just like Dave.
All right, he has part 3 is a super flex. Jesus. Okay. Ward Cousins or someone else in parts 1 and 2. Oh, the back and forth. What is this? Like a law school LSAT question? Is it this, that, or the other, or neither? And it's like, what if the answer is 2 out of the 3? Whatever.
Please go to the
no Ward, no
63.
Cousins, someone else in part 1 and 2. So back to part 1, it would be Mechie for me.
I'm playing the QB. I'm taking a shot at Superflex. I could see taking the upside of Ward. If I'm playing Mooney in my flex, I'm taking Cousins and just praying that he does something in this game. So I'd probably play Cousins in my Superflex spot, like I said, with Mooney in my flex, and then Hollywood and Otten.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to do it. Especially, well, I wouldn't play Ward against this Seattle defense as well.
All right,
if your league counts any kind of negative points for sacks, big interceptions, fumbles, I would be super nervous about playing Cam Ward against Seattle. Like he said, if you don't take a lot of negative points for anything, then I could maybe see rolling the dice with Cam. But if it's negative points, Seattle could be eating him up today.
There we go. And Ben showing some love here. Love it. Yes, definitely check if Draymond is available. Charlene, need to. Mac Hollins, Yoshivas, Shepard, McLeod, Jerry Judy. I'm sorry, did you mean Cedric Tillman? Because that's one. Cedric Tillman. and then Yoshivas would be my 2. Nate, who would you take in this awesome question here that is awesome?
Yeah, I'm still gonna. I mean, I should play into the Yoshivas start because I still do have him ahead of Ray, Mac Hollins, and the question really is who's going to run the the most routes, and it's going to be Jerry Jeudy. I just don't trust that offense enough, but I still think I lean into it. I think I go Jerry Jeudy and Yoshivas with Shepard as my 3rd.
Yes, I agree. You guys agree?
Like Mog said, Hollins has been cooking lately, but
I can't trust it. Let's see here. Moggs says the chat won't let me type all the characters in a box. Well, then condense, man. Like I don't know what else. I'm just kidding. He's like brain exercises. Ben says thanks for all the advice as always. Thank you for tuning in. Always appreciate you. I think that's all the questions we have so far. Oh, hold on. We got another guest joining us here as always. As soon as his camera comes online. While we're waiting for that to happen, Nate, do you think we should get into some of this or that?
Yeah.
This is a rhetorical question. We're going to get to this or that. How about that? Haha.
Good morning, Andy.
Look at all these people. Look at all these fine faces. A 6 box. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's that way we answer. We're hoping for questions that have 5 options, and we always go with one different. So
who's
the collective is we're always correct in this scenario or wrong.
As long as the answer is not Bam Knight, that's fine.
The answer is Cedric Tillman always, but anyhow. All right, let's see here. We got Epic Trick Shots 8327 question, and Andy, let's throw this one to you. Would you go Kenneth Gainwell or Jacoby Myers this week? With Warren is active and Rodgers is out, and also Brian Thomas is out, and that's the first part of this question. So Gainwell or Jacoby Myers?
Yeah, that's gross. It's a slight lean to Jacoby for me. I don't feel great about it, and I don't know where this Pittsburgh backfield situation is going to go. But I think the fact that Warren came off, it basically comes into the week without any injury designation at all is a good thing. I don't think Gainwell's very good. Is what it comes down to, and I hate banking on players like that. I do think that Jacoby is good. I think his role is definitely going to improve. I give a slight lean here to Otten, but you're really just chasing a touchdown with these tight ends, and I like all of them, just sort of generically for other folks listening. But I'm gonna give a small edge to Otten. I'm really interested to see what we get. I don't know. It's kind of a sicko thing to say that you're really interested to see what we get from Strange, but I think he can really help. I don't know. He's like a missing piece that puts together a lot of things for Jacksonville's offense, I think.
That is strange, Andy. That is strange. See what I did there? You're welcome, Nate. I'm sorry. You can take over now. My bad.
No, how do I follow that up?
You don't.
Yeah, exactly.
I wanted AJ Barner to be an answer, but Tennessee the past month has actually been pretty stingy against tight ends, so that's not an option.
No. So, Moggs. Oh, all right, Andy, be prepared. So what you have to do is we have to remember this question, and then it will come back to another question in the future that's going to use your answer, but some of the other options. Moggs has done a great job of making.
So those games where you flip the tiles and you got to match them, and you got to remember where the squares were.
Exactly.
So we're playing Guess Who is what we're playing.
Pretty much, yeah.
So it's a half-point PPR. Jalen Coker, Alvin Kamara, Zach Charbonnet, and flex. He's starting Kenneth Walker in the running back spot if that has any bearing on your decision when it comes to Charbonnet, Kamara, or Jalen Coker.
Oh, me?
Yeah, why not? I mean, they didn't.
I'm gonna play Alvin Kamara here. You're just in this terrible situation. Like if you asked me this question generically and you didn't throw in the nugget about Ken Walker, I'd think about Zach Charbonnet. Walker playing through injuries, super friendly matchup. I'd think about him, but there's also no way that I'm going to tie myself to 2 Seattle running backs. You drafted your way into this sort of nightmare situation, and now you have to deal with it. So I'd play Kamara.
There's one situation we talked about earlier, and is Detroit probably the lone scenario this week where you may start both running backs? And I'll segue to another situation we talked about earlier, and I think we've all put our 2 cents in as far as what we think New England most likely scenario this week's going to be with Ramondre is that he's going to play just enough to irritate us, but we don't necessarily need, a 60% back, rushing workload out of Travion to be productive. How do you see this week unfolding? It's not going to change anything. And if you have Travion, you're not dumping him because he only gets 30% of the carries, but you set your bar. And where do you have that at this week?
I think, and I don't know if it'll look like, I don't know if it'll look this way in Ramondre's first week back. So I'm a little bit more bullish on Travion here. I think that what they eventually land on is probably what they intended to do coming into the season, which I think was going to look an awful lot like how Ohio State used Travion last year, right? They maybe don't view him as the most durable back. I don't think he's looked great between the tackles until last week, which was a game against a hollowed out defense. So I think probably the best use of Travion in his rookie season is going to be, some receiving usage, and we're going to maybe give him 10, 12 carries a game, and he probably sees 40% of the snaps. And that all relied on him being, useful in pass protection, functional in pass protection. He was supposed to be the one back in this rookie class that didn't have any questions in that regard. And then, of course, he was terrible in September. But I think that's gotten better lately. So I think what they eventually get back to is something that looks a little, 50, 40, and then some scraps for somebody else, right? I think that's probably what they get to. And I think that's good for Travion. I think he's the more explosive player, and he's the guy who really has we've seen it over the last 3 weeks. He's the guy for whom everything is a red zone carry, right? Like he's got the speed to bounce something outside and, take it to the house in a situation where Ramondre simply could not.
So with that process, it would be awesome in the sense of like, this is a situation where an offense could be one-dimensional and be completely okay. Like you take away Drake May, you have that 1-2 threat from Ramondre and Travion. Theoretically, if that was the scenario that would actually play out. Now you have Drake May, who is one of the top quarterbacks in all of fantasy, and that automatically brings balance to this offense. And so now you have a 3-headed monster. But even if you just had a 2-headed monster and Drake May went through a Colts, slump, hopefully not, knock on wood, the rest of the season, you still have that 2-headed monster there for New England. So that's a pretty cool scenario to think about.
It's also, it's possible that Ramondre, if this is turf toe, that he's just not right the rest of the season, and he can't reclaim the role that he formerly had, and he's far less effective. In which case, that's the dream scenario for Travion, because I'm sure you guys have talked about it. That schedule from a running back perspective is unbelievable. You could hardly put together a better, something that's closer to a layup line of matchups.
Right. Yeah. And you do. That's the one injury that you don't seem to get immediate, not that there's a specific injury that people bounce back stronger than they were before, but that one, I think that we all as a community just have expectations that turf toe doesn't sound bad enough that the bounce back should be real. In fact, actually, I have to listen to that every single week, that if a player has turf toe, my household seems to think that's it's
kind of cute. Turf toe.
A toe. And I'm like, they need a different name. They need to make that injury sound vicious, like something nasty, where people are like, oh yeah, that sounds really bad, instead of ouchies.
Nate might actually be the only Nate might be the only one old enough here to remember that, like, the one actually terrible season that Marshall Faulk ever had was a turf toe season. Like, you look back at his career stats, and like, there's just one outlier where he was like 3.5 yards per carry or something like that. He was just garbage for the Colts. He had turf toe and he played through it all year.
Julio Jones was the same when Julio was elite. Yeah, there was 1 year where the first half of the year absolutely must start, putting up 150 and 2 touchdowns. Got turf toe, came back, just was never the same guy.
It's got to be painful. Not as painful as Mr. Scamper Scott Fishbowl question, but really close. This is almost the turf toe of Scott Fishbowl scenarios. Sir Michael William Gesicki versus the Patriots, or Honorable Kendrick Bourne versus Carolina. There's one twist to this. I'm already starting CMC, Juwan Jennings, and Ricky Pearsall. Do we just go for the entire San Francisco backfield? JT, earlier you asked me about Mike Gesicki in this situation. Knowing Scott Fishbowl scoring, are you leaning Gesicki against the Patriots, or do you just say, let's go all in?
Oh, this was tough. Like I said, I always have a hard time playing a guy the first week back, just not knowing how he's going to fit in with the offense. The Fishbowl, though, man, tight end scoring is wild. If you can get tight ends in, you want to have them in the lineup because it's just so beneficial. If they do anything, they help you out so much. I would probably, man, that's a toughie. Do I start him over Jennings or Pearsall? If not, then I think you just go. You're just hoping this Niners game is they score like 40 points, and you're just begging for just offense on top of offense. Man, that I don't have a real good feel on that one, to be honest with you. Usually, I would play the tight end of Scott Fishbowl, but not knowing where he's going to be at in this mix with everybody back, I'm a little nervous.
Yeah, I would go Gesicki, to be honest with you, with the tight end scoring. I get it, but I don't get it actually. Like if you threw in Kendrick Bourne, then you're automatically assuming that one of your starting picks is already going to be not good. So why would they be a starter for you to begin with, right? So if you're going all in on these three, CMC, Juwan Jennings, Ricky Pearsall, then you're putting them in your lineup because you are confident that they have the best chances. If you're putting in Kendrick Bourne, well, then he's going to take away from one of those three. So like, what's the thought process for having them to begin with? So instead of dealing with all that, give me the tight end situation here, where as what JT was saying, that they could walk on 2 blades of grass and they get you 20 fantasy points or something. So
I feel like Fishbowl all year, like I've got some tight ends who put up terrible lines, and then it's like 22.5 points. Okay, all right, that's fine. You don't have to do anything to get 20 points as a tight end there.
Are they still playing the Fishbowl in that old school fantasy platform? What was it called?
So they're doing it on Sleeper.
Oh, they're doing Sleeper now. What was the one they used to be on?
MFL.
I did it 1 year.
MFL.
That's the one.
MFL.
Oh god, that was a terrible platform.
Don't say that to the old heads in the fantasy community because we don't like that.
I know it's like a grassroots thing, but it was just awful.
I still got like 15 leagues on my fantasy league. If you're used to it, you know how to navigate. It's pretty good. The biggest hits about my fantasy league is the app. That's what everybody always wants to complain about. Is it's not super mobile friendly. But I just tell everybody, open a web page on your phone, and it works just fine.
You need a Commodore 64 to start up the login.
If you have a particularly complicated league, though, they can at least handle it. That's their role. That's their niche, right? Like I'm in a league with Chris Harris that is almost as complicated as the NFL itself, and it has to be on MFL. There's no other platform that can support all these dumb rules.
We for baseball Dynasty League that we have, it's the same way. It's been playing this is 45 plus years. Andy, Charlie Wiegert, he started it back in the 80s, and we're on it, and everybody new to this league gets in, and we've switched to On Roto, which is another MFL style. You could not, if I said, "Hey guys, come join this league," halfway through you would just have given up because you can't make changes. You don't know how to. There's an archaic, but there's a niche to it, like Andy said. Whereas we have our shtick with the NFBC, where it's complicated and bad, but it doesn't have all the nuances of allowing you to do a bunch of different things. It's just the site that a lot of us choose to use, and there's a superiority sometimes if you use if you're an NFBC player or NFFC. But
you guys have seen the 30 for 30 silly little game. You guys seen that one, the fantasy football one?
No, I didn't know it existed.
Really good fantasy. It was about the guys who started fantasy. It used to be called the Rotisserie League. It was baseball, and the first one was an auction draft, and it goes through the story of pretty much how they got screwed over by CBS for and not paid for fantasy. But they talked about how they used to do the fantasy scoring, and they used to just get the paper on Monday, and they would all just keep track of their own scores. So you would have to like literally put everyone else's scores in there and yours. But no, it was pretty interesting. So the way fantasy came about was one of the people was a sports writer, and they just wrote this funny article about this game they play, and then it just took off. So the way they got around it is because they called it the Rotisserie League. So I think CBS is like, okay, we're going to call it Fantasy League. And apparently legally they couldn't do anything about it, and it took off. Yeah. But it's funny now, like if someone scores and it's been 3 seconds and my score hasn't updated, I get annoyed, you know? I don't know if I could.
Nate and I probably the only 2 people here who actually played in leagues where we had to hand score it on Monday off of an agreed upon source. Yeah.
Yeah. It was ours was the USA Today, and that's what we went off of. And then here in St. Louis, Dave, and everybody else except probably Andy knows, there's RT Sports used to be. There was a number of different names that the aforementioned Charlie and company had really kind of got going, and you had to mail in your roster moves, your free agent picks, or you called in. And one of my good buddies, Rich, worked for them, and so Sundays was his day to work, and he would leave so frazzled. Like if we ever all met up that night for just to hang out, he looked like he had basically worked 70 hours straight because he's getting phone calls from people like all of us at 11:58 or 12:58 or whatever time it is, saying you need to take Leo Williams out of your lineup and put in Tez Sweat, which that didn't happen because there was no IDP necessarily. But that's a good segue to that question, Jorge, JT. Yeah. And yes, you can, Nadir. You can ask an IDP start too between Tez Sweat, Jeff Simmons, or Leo Williams.
So for me, it's Montez Sweat. You look at the tackles. That's the thing. Everybody thinks for IDP, and you think about defensive linemen. It's like, well, you got to get the sacks. Well, you can't bank on sacks every week, just like you can't bank on touchdowns every week. What you can bank on is consistent tackle volume, and that elevates IDP's fantasy floor no matter which position you're playing in IDP. And not to mention that he is getting pressures and getting sacks. So, yeah, Sweat for me, and then Jeffrey Simmons at defensive tackle.
JT, any different?
Yeah, I think I'm going with that. Simmons and Williams are pretty close for me, but I think Simmons is going to have better opportunity. I think he's going to see a lot of chances to make extra tackles this week. So I'm going to Sweat Simmons as well.
Gotcha. And Moggs, for an earlier thing, was saying that he got Walker and some trades, but he also says metatarsophalangeal joint sprain doesn't roll off the tongue as easy. Yes.
Oh, it does for Nate. Wow.
That was really impressive. Like one take, one time.
I actually thought you made that up for a second. Then I was like, oh, wait. Correctly.
He's just throwing in some vowels and consonants, hoping that it sticks. But no, you got it.
Well, when you are, 12, 13 years in radiology and you go to school for it, you do tend to say the name metatarsophalangeal or
that's going to be the longest word in history. I thought his cat just walked across a keyboard or something.
Still anti-disestablishmentarianism? Is that still the longest word?
Yeah. But yeah, anyhow, there's a lot of that was actually, so I went back and took my boards 20 years after I graduated because I had a job opening, and my lovely wife said she'd help me do like flashcards to learn. And these are all the words. And if you know her, she's wonderful, love her and everything else, but saying that word is not easy. So what I found myself is that she was like and I went, the metatarsophalangeal joint is this, and so that I knew the answers because I knew the questions because she couldn't say it. So I learned twice as fast. So if you do flashcards, spell them all wrong really bad, and then you'll be like, what the fuck is that supposed to be? And you'll know it. It's really handy.
That's awesome.
But there you go. So all right, tight end start. Zach Ertz.
Is he asking if he just takes the 0 or accepts the pain of Kyle Pitts? Is that what we're looking at here?
Kyle Pitts exists. Just unhappy he exists in life. He's always. It's so hard to not start him sometimes, but he always disappoints.
He's actually not been horrendous this year. It's like you've been okay.
That's our standards now for Kyle Pitts. Like,
Exactly.
oh, good boy, two for 30. You know what? That's okay.
It's like, we'll take
Last
it.
year would have been 1 for 10.
Scott Fishbowl, 40 points. I mean, come on, let's. So Pitts, right? Is that what we're going? I mean, obviously that's the.
I'm going Ertz on that one.
Ertz, you're not taking the 0 with Ingram. Okay, good to know. All right, we got Aiden in the chat says pick one: Aaron Jones, Jacoby Myers, Trey Tuckers. I'm going with Aaron Jones. Anybody else disagree? Agree? Nope. All right.
Yeah.
Nope. You are. Wait.
No, I'm right there. I'm with you.
Okay. We got another question: Daniel Jones or Caleb Williams?
But Andy, you cannot have the final 3 minutes of the Bears game, Caleb Williams. You only get the first 57 minutes. Yep, only 57 minutes.
So, Andy, are you going with your guy, or are you going to rationalize Daniel Jones versus the Chiefs defense this week?
No, it's close though. And I have these guys in the same range, so I don't have a strong lean here. One of the problems with the Bears is that, if Ben Johnson thinks that he can just run the ball endlessly, he will do that. Like they're not, he's not necessarily inclined to put the ball in the air 35 times, but I think the matchup here favors Caleb. And I also feel like this game has, as much as any Bears game has shootout potential, this kind of does, because man, as you guys know, the Bears are down like everyone. They're down. This is like a junior varsity defense today, and I actually kind of think that Mason Rudolph is a sneaky DFS play and all that. Like I think they're going to put up a number, so I think Caleb's going to have to throw in this one. And I don't know, you can put up a number against Pittsburgh too. So the slightest possible lean to Caleb for me.
Right. Yeah. Agreed.
Chiefs are actually tough to score against. If you look at a lot of their scores, they're only, they're just not putting up the offensive numbers, but the defense is doing a half decent job. A lot of them are like in the teens.
Yeah, it's the one area that, they can stay in games. Just unfortunately, that final little area last week was, stupid penalties that they just sloppy play, which offset a lot. But yeah. Starting Andrew says he's starting Pierce and Watson. Who should it flex between Parker Washington, Trey Tucker, Kayshon Boutte with an extra couple T's?
I was going to say, is that 2 extra T's or 1?
2 extra T's.
Okay.
Wow. You may have to get some frames, one, because, you'd be on brand for the show too, to just see that there are more than 2 T's there.
I am actually meant to wear glasses.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry for making fun of your vision. Parker Washington for me.
Yeah, I'm with Washington as well. Are we starting? There's no other options. Like you're not starting Trey Tucker or Kayshon Boutte over Alec Pierce or Christian Watson. Assuming those
I am. I don't know how strong I feel about Pierce. He's a little bit hot and cold. If Pittman's firing, Pierce is not going to get the looks. I'd rather risk it with Boutte. He gets the deep balls all the time.
See that's my thought. That's the reason why I did not pick him, is because you'd have 2 deep threat wide receivers already on your roster. Like if this is like a standard league, I could understand that. Like you want the yardage chunk plays, right? But if it's not, and if it's any form of PPR, well then you gotta bring it back down to balance that out as best as possible. And I think that's where Parker Washington comes into play.
I will say, like, Pierce has been used a little bit. I mean, this isn't, classic Alec Pierce where he only gets 3 deep shots a game and, he's got to convert on 2 of them if he's going to have a fantasy day. Like, he's seeing a few more bread and butter NFL throws. It's not all, I don't know. I feel like he's been a little bit more consistent than what we typically think of as his profile. But I hear you on the idea that it's 3 guys who are just high variance receivers. I think I'd find a way to get Boutte in my lineup though, just given the matchup.
Yeah, the matchup is definitely enticing for sure. What Will wants to know, guys, is what do you expect? I guess JT, Jorge, probably more so. Curtis Robinson this week could use a flex in his IDP spot. Curtis Robinson won. Obviously, you don't know the other options or who's available on the waivers, but are you comfortable if this is Curtis Robinson is in your flex?
So, JT, I don't know if you heard, but I believe Curtis Robinson is supposed to be wearing the green dot here for San Francisco. And if he is the every down linebacker, he'd be the person that I want just because of the volume he'd be on the field, amount of time.
Yeah, that whole Niners team, it's been a mess. Like I said, D Winters, he's been not great this year. I played him earlier. Somebody asked, I said I'd play him. He had 10 tackles last week. Hasn't been pretty, but somebody again at linebacker's got to make a play. So if you can pick him up and play him, I think he's worth a flex depending on who else you got. I'm guessing you don't have a lot of other options, so I don't mind that play.
All right.
Well, real quick, before I want to get Jonathan's opinion on something. Do we think that if they use the term metasprain instead of turf toe, that sounds like a much more dramatic injury?
Metasprain.
Exactly.
Sounds like breaking your new camera glasses or something. Metasprain.
They're not my favorite thing. I thought I'd love them.
Dude, I tried them the other day. My buddy has one. They're crazy. I didn't realize you can actually. They've got speakers in them as well.
Yep.
And they're really crystal clear. It's crazy.
And people really can't hear it outside. You can't hear when if I'm playing music and I have the problem is they're a tad heavy, and I don't wear glasses often, so you notice them a little bit more. And if you're trying to take a video of someone, it's really noticeable. Not that I'm trying to take a video of someone without their consent or knowledge. Let's be clear.
Can we explore that a little bit?
Yeah. So actually,
we're gonna have to get someone taking meta glasses and filming you just to make sure.
Right. Yeah. The creeper vision. Actually, that's one of the reasons why they did this. So there's a light up here that turns on that is for that reason. They won't say it specifically for that reason exclusively, but it is for privacy, so you're being recorded, so you can't just creepily record somebody. So it looks the part. And then you went down. Good Lord, there's people when I'm getting them and I'm trying to find out little tricks to do different things. And every other question is that, how do I hide the light? And they're like, try putting tape over it. And they're like, no, because then you get as the camera's obstructed. And I thought, I am on the wrong forum.
Forums you on.
To catch a cameraman is what's going on. To catch a cameraman.
It's to catch a metaphile. It's what that one.
I was trying to be nice about it, but yeah, okay.
Next week it'll be Nate is no longer part of
this. We do not condone the use of camera glasses here at Fantasy and Frames. Those are not the frames that we recommend you getting.
Or this program is sponsored by Meta. Explore all the world has to offer. Meta glasses, non-PPR. Even Meta glasses wouldn't help me answer this non-PPR question because I refuse it. Too advanced technology for such an archaic scoring. I'm just kidding. Non-PPR lovers, I'm giving you troubles, but you get to pick two. Wilson, Chase Brown, Rico Dowdle, DeAndre Swift.
Which Dowdle? I mean, that's a given. But we all in agreement there. Yeah,
I think
it's just
so.
a question of who's the other one, and I could lean either way.
Without Jacobs, I lean Wilson. Probably go Wilson, then Brown with Swift.
Defense, though. It's a really tough defense they're going up against.
I think I'm going Brown.
I feel like people have really galaxy brand Chase Brown this week this is non-PPR, so you're not getting any special bonuses for the receiving workload that people have him ticketed for. But man, that is a really difficult rushing assignment. And I always hate to start a running back who I have very little hope for them on the ground. So I think I'd go away for Brown.
I'm probably just going Swift, but it's not by much. I think he's still good north-south runner and he's catching passes. So I know Monungai's there, but he gets enough looks. But that's pretty close. I don't think you're going to go wrong with either option.
So Dowdle and Emmanuel.
Dowdle, insert name here.
Yeah,
John.
I'd go. Good.
No,
John,
I was just going to say the argument for Brown there is just that there is no one else behind him. Like, he is getting all of that work, and obviously you're not getting bonuses for PPR work, but you are still getting that yardage, and he is he is going to see all of that work in the backfield.
Gotcha. We'll keep the Emmanuel Wilson train going, and Fernan just found out Jacobs is out, so should I start Alec Pierce, Xavier Worthy, or Emmanuel Wilson at the flex? It is a full point PPR. probably
Depends what you
means it's
need.
down to
Would- Are you
Wilson
looking for
or
safety?
yeah, I know.
If you're looking for safety, then Wilson's going to get you 10 points. But if you need big play upside, I'd say Pierce. But, once again, we always say floor is 0.
He's not Jamison Williams, where the floor is actually 0, but where there have been instances where that has been the case. First of all, I don't know who this Emmanuel 2M Wilson is. I know of Emmanuel 1M Wilson, who's for the Green Bay Packers. Yeah, I would start Wilson here in this situation.
That's when.
Jorge, you thought Portugal was in South America, so
excuse me, I had a brain fart. Sorry,
I'm gonna
Portuguese,
defend the guy. All right?
Brazil, I get it. Yeah, all right. Anyhow,
He's blasting the guy for 2 M's.
Exactly. Yowzers! This shows you guys are mean. Full point PPR. We'll get back on redemption.
Sorry, that was harsh.
I guess you're
It's my
choosing
bad.
a
I'm
side.
joking, Jorge.
I mean, both. Andy, you said earlier the matchups pretty enticing. Kenneth Walker is returning from an injury that if he's going to play, he's returning, which tells me that they actively want to get him into the lineup. What percentage and which way do you lean in a full point PPR? Are you going to go just?
They've really been feeding Walker. I go Walker all the time when I'm given this question, in part because Walker is the one guy who can score from just anywhere, right?
Yeah.
Like Walker gives you all the, he gives you all the boring stuff that you can get from Charbonnet, and he also gives you the potential for like a 40 or 45 yard touchdown. So I usually lean Kenneth Walker here.
I think we're all in agreement with Kenneth Walker there.
Yep.
Are we in agreement with Scampers adding 2 T's to the booty?
Yeah, well, if you see Boggs' responses in the YouTube chat as you keep scrolling down, they get progressively worse. So we're probably going to avoid putting those in there, but they are kind of funny.
All right, well, we'll go to Will's question because Jamari DK or Parker Washington a full point PPR. But here's the twist to it. It's 1 point for every 10 punt return yards and a half point for 10 kickoff return yards. Jonathan, how do you feel about starting a player specifically with the kick return type yardage? I mean, it factors into the equation, but does it factor enough that you're going to lean Parker Washington or because both are exceptional kick returners?
Should have played Ray Davis. That would have been a nice score. 20 points or something.
Yeah. I think I'm going Parker Washington here because it's obviously he has been seeing plenty of targets alongside that upside that you get from the special teams yardage.
Mm-hmm.
And with Brian Thomas Jr. still out, Jacoby Myers has looked good, but obviously he is still new into the offense. Obviously last week was just a slightly odd game. So I'm still feeling more comfortable with Parker Washington there.
Anybody varying opinions of kick return yards in scoring? I don't hate it.
I have them on the defense. I've got a punt and kick return yards. So you get, if you do 10 yards, it's 1 point. So it is good when you run one back for a touchdown, but it's actually a lot higher this year. We've never had defenses score as much because the NFL's changed the rules where they're encouraging kick returns.
The tough thing for DK, and I answered this in a couple different ways. The thing with DK, the reason he's been so valuable is Tennessee's been so awful. He's getting a ton of returns per game. So it's like some of these guys are like, oh, you only get like 1 chance, 2 chances to return a kick. He's getting like 5-6 chances a game sometimes, plus multiple punts. So depending on their league, and this is pretty high scoring, 1 point per 10 yards. He gets a 50-yard return, one return. I mean, he's easily cleared 100 yards in return yards in multiple games this year. So with this scoring just being 1 point per 10, I think it's way closer. I would say Parker Washington for sure, but they're going against it's Seattle, right? It's Tennessee's playing today, I think. Yeah. Yes. There's a good chance DK sees a lot of returns again. So that is a lot closer than I would have probably just looking at it on the surface. That's a lot closer just because there's a real chance he sees 4 to 6, 7 returns combined for kicks and punt returns in this game. And if he gets anywhere near 10 yards of return, I mean, he could easily be pushing 100 total yards on those. So that is a tougher question with it being that high of a scoring for kick and punt return, especially kick return. 1 point per 10. All he needs is one good one. He gets one good one, and he's getting you like legit points on just one return.
I do like having return yards in a league. I agree, though. This is a lot of scoring for return yards, right? Like they basically give you 10 yards for free on a kick return, right? So that's hard.
Teams
I'm usually
like 150 yards a game.
half a point per 10 yards or return or something like that. In my leagues, I like kick return yards. I include them in all the leagues in the commish. But this is really high kick and punt return scoring. So this is definitely super beneficial.
All right, let's cruise through these last three questions. I know we're pushing 12 o'clock, if not over already. Let's get here. Cole Kmet or Kyle Pitts? Awesome. Let's go out with a bang here, folks. Excuse me, Andy. Who would you have here? Toss that to you.
Well, good job finding a player who's actually active today to put opposite Kyle Pitts. I would, in fact, start Kyle Pitts here. Cole Kmet has to mess around with Colston Loveland. It's always close with Kyle Pitts because your most likely outcome is like 3 for 35. Everybody knows it, but I don't know. There's a chance slightly into Kyle Pitts.
Can we just get Kyle Pitts to retire so we don't have to talk about him again? That would help. Every year,
or go to a different team and hopefully get have production. We'll see. All right, rest of season between Chris Godwin or Jaden Reed, both pretty much have very similar reintroductions back to their teams, established. Except for, is it Jaden Reed or do you? I guess that's the question with Green Bay is. Do we trust that one receiver, when healthy, like we've seen out of Jaden Reed, can be that guy? And I don't believe that personally.
Yeah, you've got like 4 of us shaking our heads. No,
it's a charcuterie board. It's just a charcuterie board of receivers. It just who's going to be up every single week. You never know. So in 1 minute it's Dobbs, 1 minute it's Watson. 1 minute you got Josh Jacobs catching passes. I don't know. It's just I'm not confidently trusting a Green Bay receiver.
Yeah, and in Tampa Bay, that Mike Evans is out for the rest of the season. That it's Egbuka and it's Godwin, and that's where the majority of the targets are going to go.
All right, and half point PPR guys. Yep, Xavier Legette at the 49ers or Jake Ferguson versus the Eagles. No tight end premium scampers going out with the bang with the very well executed question, so we all have all the details.
Half point PPR as well. Everyone take note. This is how we want questions going forward.
There's no best regards or very
I'm disappointed no warm regards or to whoever makes the turn. But
Scampers,
that's all right. I'll let it fly.
I'd still
no extra. Jorge's happy. There's no like extra G or double N.
No, right. Yeah, this
is Ferguson, right?
This was textbook question asking.
I don't know. I got to look up. That's
spell Legette.
I would go Ferguson still in the situation.
Exactly like that.
I'd chase the touchdown with Ferguson.
Yeah.
49ers allowed Bryce Young to go for 450 yards last week. I don't know. I mean, it's what was it? No. They're playing against
Jacoby though.
449 last.
I will say though that game was. That was 35-10 after 3 quarters, and so much of it was the fourth quarter. And it
true.
I don't know. It matters for fantasy, but it didn't really matter.
Yeah, still, even though Ferguson might be the third option, if we've seen anything from that, granted, I don't expect a repeat of the first game by any means. That would be crazy to assume that, but I wouldn't be shocked to see plenty of scoring coming from both sides, enough to support 3 receivers in Dallas. Superflex PPR, I guess doesn't really matter for the Geno portion, but whatever.
There's a real possibility of a batted pass that Geno catches today.
That is true. So, yes, Superflex PPR, Geno, Xavier Worthy, Trey Tucker, Jamari DK, Michelle Tootin, thank you on the T in front of Tucker. We had a lot of Tucker questions that we didn't know if it was Sean or Trey. Some Wilsons. It was very disorganized, but after 2 hours, we've really tightened the ship around here, and we've got these viewers in line like they should be and listen to our
We have been pretty harsh to them. Yeah,
I know.
Better questions.
Spell your names correctly.
These questions are so tough because, like, a nightmare game for Geno where he throws 4 interceptions. He's still giving you like 9.5 points, right? Like the worst game for a quarterback still produces, with an exception for injury, still produces like 9 points, 10 points, 11 points. So I almost always take the quarterback here. I don't feel great about it. I'd play Geno here. I would try to be proactive about getting Tootin in the lineup. Obviously, you must have better options at running back, but I'm really intrigued by the ceiling for Bashal Tootin this week. He seemed like he was pretty close to being the head of the committee last week before the injury, so I am pretty excited about him. And
Scampers does nice citation with warmest wishes to you and yours.
See, there we go.
And see. Finally, last but not least, we leave on an IDP question the way that everybody had always assumed. Dean or David White?
No, Dean. Oh, David White? Devin White? I'll go Devin White. Oh, you did that on purpose. Damn you, Nadir. Okay. Yeah, Devin White here in this situation.
That's actually pretty
good.
It's an
IDP. Jorge, on
it's an IDP.
IDP.
Okay.
I just won a Dwight Freeney signed Colts jersey.
Oh.
Auction bid.
Oh.
As soon as I get it, I'm going to have to wear it on the Shoot the Gap show.
Congratulations.
How'd you win that?
I just won it on a Colts auction bid. Some guy tried to bid me up at the last second. I just knocked him out and won it.
Well, thank you for your dedication to the show. That's great, JT.
It just popped up on my phone like a second ago. It was like 2 minutes left in this auction. Like in now, and I was like, oh, I gotta rebid this. Somebody just outbid you. So sorry.
Sorry,
I knew you guys had it all under control.
I know we did. We IDP gurus here, but it is the 12 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 8 p.m. hour if you're in Scotland or whatever the time frame is. Parting wishes, anybody? As we do every week. Anything? I mean, like I said earlier, I'm really intrigued to see just how much Vrabel's gonna screw over the Travion Henderson owners, but
he will.
I know he will. I know he will. Jorge.
No, just we still have all of our article content coming out this week, a day early, obviously for the holiday. A podcast will be normal schedule this week, but really for those who celebrate, just wishing you all a happy Thanksgiving and safe holidays.
And for anyone who's interested, that 30 for 30 is on Netflix. It's called A Silly Little Game. Check it out.
Nice.
Matt Berry actually hosts it, I think.
How about that?
Jonathan?
Screw you, Americans. We don't celebrate Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it's just Thursday. Only other thing from me, anyone that follows the other version of football may have seen that Scotland qualified for the World Cup for the first time since 1998.
Really?
Let's go.
So there may be a very friendly, albeit very drunk group of Scotland fans coming to a city near you in North America next summer.
Sweet.
Yes, Scotland in '98. They actually Australia and Scotland were fighting for the last spot. That's how they won. We lost to you guys 1-0. I remember that. Anyway,
Well, how about that?
That's great to learn of this long simmering rivalry between
I know.
I didn't realize. I mean, I'm not Scottish, but I've been indoctrinated by my other half's family. So
nice. All right, folks. Well, that's going to do it for the show. Thank you very much for tuning in. Again, like I said, regular programming this week. Enjoy the holiday. We'll be back next week. Y'all take care. Thank you very much.